Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. This is Haley from Top 5 Choices, and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I am going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best telescopes, 2022. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use it for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. The EVSCOPE seems, at first, to be identical to its predecessor. It has the same light gray tube and comes propped up on a large tripod with 3 section legs. Each is held steady by large, solid cams. However, there are several changes. The new Nikon electronic eyepiece is very impressive. Branded with the camera maker's logo, it's a lot clearer, more detailed, and much more involving than the eyepiece used on the original EVSCOPE. Stars, nebulae and galaxies are presented against the jet black of space, and there's plenty of eye relief, which is good if you wear glasses. You can focus the eyepiece separately using a small knob. That eyepiece has a lot to work with. Inside the EVSCOPE 2 is an all-new Sony IMX347 CMOS image sensor, which is capable of 3200 by 3200 pixel images. That's 7.7 megapixels, which is something of a leap from the 4.8 megapixel images offered by the original EVSCOPE and the EVSCOPE Equinox. Crucially, the EVSCOPE 2 also has a new, wider field of view, so as well as getting views of distant galaxies and nebulae, you can also now get a full-screen view of the Moon and the stunning Andromeda galaxy. However, planets don't look good, aside from Jupiter. Once you're set up, the app presents to you the choice of objects, from galaxies and nebulae to stars and the Moon, that are currently high above the horizon and ideal for observing. The app has a built-in catalog of about 5,400 objects to choose from. The magic happens when you slew an object, which can take a while, though the EVSCOPE is so accurate that we have no complaints. Once it has the object in its crosshairs, you simply press the Enhanced Vision button, a graphic of an eye, and it begins to take photos and stack them on top of each other. This is an advanced technique of astrophotographers, and it helps produce incredible images even under light-polluted skies. You can watch either through the eyepiece, though don't touch the telescope, or at your phone or a tablet as the object in question gets brighter and more defined with time. Some faint nebulae are worth observing for a long time, others look great after just a few seconds. Either way, you can download them to devices and share them instantly. The 80AZS refers to the Astromaster's aperture size. Its 80mm aperture should allow you to see not only the Moon, but also the massive gas giant planets like Saturn and Jupiter much further away, as well as some bright nebulas. The popular science edition of the 80AZS also comes with 2 eyepieces, 20mm and 10mm, for different magnifications, a smartphone adapter for photos, and a red dot finder scope. The finder scope proved to be invaluable for locking onto objects. Oddly enough, for an astronomy newcomer like me, at least, while the 20mm eyepiece offers 20x magnification, the 10mm eyepiece actually offers longer distance viewing at 40x magnification. You can purchase other, more powerful, eyepieces from Celestron as well. The tripod is fairly sturdy and the panhandle was smooth to operate. The accessory tray attached to the tripod is nice until you start breaking down the equipment for the night and your eyepieces and phone adapter fall onto the dark ground. I would have preferred a closed pouch or something similar. There's a lot of plastic on the Astromaster, which probably helps keep it relatively light at 10 pounds. Even with the plastic, the build quality seemed solid. The Astromaster 80AZS comes with a 2-year warranty and unlimited tech support. Seeing the Moon and its craters so close, I felt a bit like Buzz Aldrin. Using Celestron's Sky Portal app, I identified objects in the sky and then used the Astromaster to focus in on them. It was often hit and miss. Although I eventually found solar superstars like Jupiter and Saturn with its rings, I wasn't able to find interstellar objects like nebulas. Luckily, a more experienced friend was able to take better advantage of the Celestron's capabilities, finding 1 or 2 bright star clusters. While the Astromaster helps you see celestial objects more clearly, it also doubles as an excellent spotting scope for distant wildlife. I was kicking myself for not taking it along with me on my most recent trip to Yellowstone National Park. The best telescopes for stargazing can make the most distant astral bodies feel like they're within touching distance, without you having to leave your back garden. Starting out with stargazing isn't cheap, however, especially if you want to do it properly, so it makes sense to do your research before you buy in order to figure out which telescope is best suited to your needs and ability level. You might be happy with a straightforward starter scope that'll give you a clear view of the moon's surface, but not much else, in which case you might be better off with our guide to the best telescope for beginners. Or perhaps you have more far-ranging ambitions of looking out into deep space, for which you need an advanced, computerized scope that can help you find astronomical points of interest. Unsurprisingly, the more advanced telescope will cost you more, but if you're prepared to pay, then you'll be rewarded with more flexibility and better results, so you're unlikely to run out of enthusiasm as quickly as you might with a cheaper scope. We'd suggest shelling out for the best telescope you can afford. This is a market in which too much penny pinching will almost certainly equate to disappointing results. Once you start reading, you'll notice that there are a lot of Celestron options included here, and with good reason. It's one of the best telescope brands available, with an enormous range models suitable for all experience levels, and if you choose one that seems about right for you, then you're unlikely to be disappointed. It's not the only good brand out there though. Read on for our pick of the best telescopes at a range of budgets. The Celestron Inspire 100AZ offers a complete observing package with a good-sized aperture, a focal length of 660mm and plenty of features at a reasonable cost. This telescope would appeal to younger astronomers, in particular, as it's not only affordable but also attractively designed. The 100mm wide alloy optical tube is finished in a light metallic blue gloss paint with black plastic fittings and an orange, Vixen-style dovetail bar. The tripod has a robust and modern-looking asymmetrical pan and tilt head with 32mm diameter, stainless steel adjustable height legs. As well as the 20mm and 10mm Kellner eyepieces supplied, there's a 90 degrees erect image diagonal included, meaning the telescope is also suitable for terrestrial observations. Completing the package is a useful red light LED torch, accessory tray/leg spreader, and a dual-purpose dust cap. The achromatic doublet lens is fully coated. It's only a thin coating, but it's evenly applied with no bad spots. Stars examined through the Inspire 100AZ retained good shapes up to almost 80% of the field of view. As expected, bright stars showed some chromatic aberration, but, generally, the correct star colors were observed. Orange Aldebaran, the blue-white Pleiades and the lovely contrasting pair of Albireo were all accurately represented. We enjoyed early evening views of Venus, where the planet's phase was easily observed and Mars was very clearly a non-stellar red disk. Lunar observations were particularly enjoyable, with plenty of detail visible in the craters and not too much false color on the limb. That said, however, the 20mm eyepiece afforded much better views than the 10mm eyepiece, which was rather lackluster. The double cluster in Perseus showed well through the 20mm eyepiece, and the view through the telescope took less than 5 seconds to stabilize after it had been given a sharp knock. The mount is remarkably easy to set up. You simply fix it to a tripod that has a standard 3/8" Whitworth photographic thread, level it using the bubble level at the top of the mount, and attach the telescope, maximum payload, 9 pounds per 4 kilograms, to the Agena Vixen dovetail clamp. Point the telescope anywhere east of the sun, and power up the mount, battery pack or external 12-volt power source. After a short wait, the internal GPS will acquire a positional fix, and the onboard electronics will calculate the altitude of the sun. The telescope slews to this altitude and tracks westward until its sun sensor detects the sun. This entire process typically takes less than 2 minutes. You will probably find that the sun is not centered in the telescope's field of view, so you simply center it using the 8-way switch on the mount, then double-click the power button and the mount will remember the correction offset to be applied. It really is that simple. During long sessions, the sensor keeps the mount aligned to the sun as long as it is shining, and the mount does a reasonably good job of modeling the sun's position if it goes behind a cloud for an extended period. Of course, being an altazimuth mount, it cannot compensate for field rotation, so keeping track of solar features over several hours is less easy than with an equatorial mount. You do need to be careful to ensure the telescope is well balanced, or tracking in altitude can be compromised. The altitude axis cannot be declutched, so you will have to find the balance point of the telescope before you attach it, then ensure that it is in the middle of the dovetail clamp. As well as being a useful mount for personal solar observing, the ability to be up and running in a couple of minutes is a boon for public outreach sessions, where tripods can be accidentally nudged or entire setups may have to be sheltered from passing rain showers. This mount is a one-trick pony, but it's an